James's plan. One day, during lunch at RPA, James and Xandar were discussing fun ideas everyone could all do. In the middle of the conversation, James seemed to zone out as he noticed Hugo and Sofia walking together to find a seat while holding their trays. He then turned and saw Desmond and Amber sitting together. Why were Hugo and Desmond always hanging out with his sisters lately? James certainly wasn't comfortable with it. James, Xandar annoyingly said, noticing his friend wasn't paying attention. He began to wave his hand in front of James's eyes, but nonetheless, James was still fixated on his sisters. Xandar confusedly looked at his friend, then curiously turned to see where James was staring. Oh, Xandar told himself, understanding what was going on. Suddenly, James's annoyed and protective glance turned into a mischievous smirk. Hey Xandar, I have an idea of something we all can do, he declared. The next day, walking down to the throne room, Amber sighed and reminded Sofia how it was James's turn to organize the hangout. I know, I'm so excited. James always has the best and funnest ideas, Sofia happily cried. This was, in fact, true. Each member of the group would take turns organizing the activities for their hangout. Amber's activities were usually formal and proper, like a tea party. Sofia's were pretty simple and like bonding exercises. Xandar's were kind of over the top, making you feel overwhelmed. Desmond's tended to be kind of boring, but everyone would still go along with it. Finally, Hugo's activities were always pretty dangerous, and at least one person would always get hurt. James and Xandar were already waiting in the throne room. Amber and Sofia soon walked in, and Sofia excitedly asked what his plan was for the day. You'll see, James simply responded, fist-bumping Xandar afterwards. Amber began to fluff the skirt of her dress, stating that whatever it was, it better not ruin her dress. Suddenly, Prince Hugo and Prince Desmond arrived in Enchantia and entered the throne room. Hugo greeted them all, and Desmond gave a small wave. Hey you guys, Sofia called out. Once the two princes finally approached the group, Hugo fist-bumped Xandar and James, then looked towards the eldest princess. Amber, Hugo. Sofia then hugged him and went, I'm glad you could make it. Hugo smiled back and said he was too. Amber then turned and sarcastically teased how excited Desmond looked. He always felt like the odd one out during their activities due to Xandar, Hugo, James, and even Sofia being better than him when they did activities like enchanted discus or rock climbing. Since it was James's turn to plan, he knew it would be something like that again. Amber put her hand on his shoulder and stated that she understood. She wasn't exactly the athletic type either. Thanks, Amber, Desmond replied, finally letting out a smile. Xandar called everyone over, stating that James was finally going to announce his activity. Everyone turned to face the two, and Xandar began, We're going to do a scavenger hunt, James finished. Everyone will be in teams of 2. Xandar and I already picked the teams, he explained. Wait, you picked the teams? Why is that fair? Amber scolded. Xandar then chuckled and answered that it was fair because it was James's activity. Sofia put on a smile and told her brother that it sounded fun. Everyone here was her friend, so she wouldn't really mind whoever she was paired with. Are you sure we can't pick our own teams? Not going to say names, but some people here aren't exactly good at scavenger hunts. Plus, there's someone I'd much prefer on my team, Amber said. James asked who that was, and Amber answered, I'm not saying, because then I know you won't pair me with them. James just shrugged his shoulders and went, whatever. Alright, team number 1 will be Desmond and... Please say Amber, please say Amber, Desmond thought to himself as he tightly closed his eyes and crossed his fingers. However, James announced Sofia. Huh? Desmond cried. Sofia gave a small smile as she looked at him going, Oh, looks like we're teammates. Desmond looked back at her and gave a fake laugh, then replied, yeah, looks like it. James then declared that the next group was Hugo and Amber. What? They both yelled. They turned and gave each other annoyed glares. Hey Sofia, you want to trade partners? Amber suggested, Hugo adding how that sounded like an excellent plan. However, James told them how they weren't allowed to switch partners. Sophia asked why not, and James explained how it was his activity, so his rules. So, you can be paired with who you work best with, but we can't, Hugo complained. James once again shrugged his shoulders, and him and Xandar began to laugh. Desmond noticed Amber giving her twin an irritated stare, so he turned towards her and consoled, "Maybe this won't be so bad. You and Hugo are both great leaders, so I still think you can win without me." He saw her calm down a bit, but then caught that look in her eyes that she always has when she gets an idea. "Well, when it's my turn to plan, I'm going to put everyone in our proper groups. However, I'm going to make sure Xandar and James work solo. Neither will have a partner. There's nothing like revenge on your brother to make your day better," Amber told Desmond. He normally would convince her otherwise, but this time, he just couldn't argue. It sounded fair to him. "I know James. He's behind something. I'm not exactly sure what, but he for sure is up to something. Just promise me that whatever he's up to, you won't let it go to your head, okay?" Amber finished. "Okay, I promise," Desmond assured with a smile. "Alright teams, here's your list of items to find. There are at least 3 of each item around the inside and outside of the castle. Whoever gets back here first with all items wins," James announced. Sofia started to read her list, and it seemed as if every item was some sort of riddle. She questioned what he meant by, "It's slick on ice, but your balance must be precise." "I don't know. You just have to find out yourself," James chuckled. The challenge once again didn't seem fair if he knew the items but everyone else didn't. Once the hunt began, Sofia saw the first thing on the list was, "It shines on your head, but you don't wear it to bed." "Oh, a tiara," Desmond answered. Sofia told him great job and rushed to try to find one until Desmond pointed out, "But we already have a tiara. You have one right there," and pointed to the tiara Sofia was wearing. "Yeah, but we're supposed to find one on our own, remember?" Sofia reminded. Desmond just said how using Sofia's would be easier. "But we have to follow the rules, Desmond. That would be like cheating." Desmond wasn't really a fan of cheating, so hearing Sofia say that made him let out a sigh and go, "Okay." "I know just where to find plenty of tiaras," Sofia cried, grabbing the boy's arm and pulling him out of the throne room. Hugo and Amber stood arguing whether the riddle was a crown or tiara. A tiara is just a female crown, so either way, the answer is a crown, Hugo claimed. "How dare you?" Amber scolded. Hugo then smirked and decided that it was settled and they were going to look for a crown. "You are looking for a crown. I'm looking for a tiara." "Fine." "Fine." James overlooked both groups and began to laugh, whereas Xandar looked a bit worried. James? Aren't we just supposed to get them to spend less time with your sisters? Not make everyone hate each other?" he said with much concern. James tried to assure that everything will be fine, but Xandar looked back at his other friends and wasn't so sure about that. This plan seemed doable at first, but now he was starting to have regrets. "Here we are," Sofia said once they reached the door to Amber's room. Desmond slightly froze. It would be wrong to go into Amber's room and take something. He then insisted to wait outside, while Sofia went in to grab a tiara. "Alright, Des, maybe while I grab it, you can decipher the next riddle." Desmond gave a simple nod as Sofia went into the room. Once Sofia came back out, she handed the tiara to Desmond and asked what the riddle was. He explained how it's thick with words, usually used by nerds. He then offendedly told her, "It's a book." "Great! To the library!" Sofia cheered. Before they ran off, they heard footsteps and saw Amber coming up to them. Desmond nervously hid her tiara behind him. "Hey Amber, how are you guys doing?" Sofia questioned. She then paused, looked around, and added, "Where's Hugo?" "Looking for the wrong thing," Amber answered. "What are you two doing by my room?" she followed. As Desmond shamefully started to hide behind Sofia, Sofia explained how they were just borrowing something for now and will return it after the hunt. Desmond and Sofia were two of the people that she trusted most, so she replied, "All right, just don't ruin it." Looking down at their list, James chuckled and went, "We don't need this list. I already know what we're supposed to find. Come on, Xandar." He then crumpled the paper in his hands and tossed it behind them. Amber soon ran back into Hugo. He was holding a crown while she held a tiara. "By the way, I saw Desmond and Sofia with a tiara. Desmond is the best at riddles, so if he says it's a tiara, then it's a tiara," Amber told him. Hugo looked down at his crown, rolled his eyes, and then sat it down. "Let's just move on to the next riddle," he said. They read the riddle and knew it was a book. "Well, at least we agree on this one. Let's go this way," Hugo insisted. Amber suggested to go the other way instead. "But this way is faster," Hugo argued. "This is my castle. I know it better, and I say this way makes the most sense," Amber counteracted. Hugo then stated that he had a better idea and ripped the paper in half. "I find these items, you find those. Got it?" "Now that's a plan I can follow through with," Amber agreed, then took the slip of paper from his hand. She then continued her way to the library as Hugo read the start of his riddles. "It's used to fight and handled by a knight." Of course James would add a sword on the list, Hugo said, then made his way to find a sword. Desmond and Sofia were now on their way to find their third item. "It's slick on ice, but your balance must be precise." "What do you think it is, Sofia?" Desmond wondered. "You're good at riddles. What do you think?" Sofia replied. They both thought for a moment until Desmond realized he was talking about ice skates. "You're right! Okay, where do you think we should go to find them?" Sofia asked. "Well, it's your castle. Where do you think they would be?" he questioned. Sofia pondered once again, then stated how she had her own pair of enchanted skates in her room. "I mean, they're still technically ice skates, right?" she added. James and Xandar already had 3 of the 6 items. Xandar asked if James remembered what was next. Oh, I know! Wait, no, that wasn't it." The two tried to think back, but they were both lost. "Uh-oh," they said in unison. Eventually, all 3 teams were tied up with 3 items. Sofia and Desmond were now searching for a sword. Amber was looking for the ice skates. Xandar and James were still trying to remember the other items, and Hugo was figuring out his next riddle. "If you like long floppy ears, it could be one of your closest furry peers. Looks like I have to go outside for this one." In the armory, Desmond walked towards the wall and picked up a sword going, "Sofia, look! I found one of the swords. Whoa! That's heavy. Hey, Sofia, you think you can carry this one for a while? It's so heavy." The sword seemed so heavy to him that he was slouching toward the ground. Sofia came and took it from his hands. She looked back at her friend and giggled. He could carry around a stack of books easily, but not a sword? So, what's next? Sofia pulled out the list and went, floppy ears and furry peers? That's easy. I'll go find Clover." Outside, Hugo found a wild bunny and was trying to lure it to him with carrots. However, the fuzzy brown rabbit felt too intimidated by the prince. Sofia walked by after finding Clover and stopped asking, "You need any help, Hugo?" "Huh?" Hugo said as he turned around. His eyes met Sofia's and a smile formed on his face. "Sofia!" he cried. "This bunny is pretty timid. I can't get him out," he explained. "Dealing with someone being timid, huh? I understand," Sofia joked, nudging his arm. Hugo chuckled and questioned how long she was going to tease him for that. "I don't know. Maybe one day I'll stop." "Maybe," she giggled. She then knelt down beside him and turned towards the bunny. "Hi there. Don't be afraid. I'm Sofia. This is Hugo. We're friends of Clover's," she told the small mammal. She put down Clover in front of the bunny and went, "See?" Hugo watched as Sofia tried to persuade the bunny. She always got along great with animals, almost as if she was one with them. It was a little weird to literally try to talk with them, but he actually thought it was cute. all he could do was smile. Eventually, the brown rabbit hopped out from hiding and jumped into Hugo's arms. "Whoa, hi there," he said. The bunny made a few weird noises, and Sofia once again giggled. "So, you on your way to discover the last riddle?" he asked the princess. "Yeah, Desmond's bringing all our items to the throne room and watching after them while I find the last one," Sofia answered. Hugo then offered if they wanted to look together. "But we're on different teams," Sofia reminded him. "So, who's going to stop us from finding one item together?" Hugo chuckled. Sofia smiled, and Hugo reached out and grabbed her hand. "If James has a problem with it, he'll have to deal with me first," he declared. "So what's the riddle?" "It's normally made with lots of ply. Sometimes they lie, sometimes they fly." "This is the hardest one yet," Sofia cried. Hugo paused, then asked if she thought it was a kite. No, kites are usually made of paper or cloth, not plies of yarn." "Wait a second, what about a carpet?" Sofia realized. Hugo brought up how carpets can't fly, and Sofia replied, "They can if they are magic carpets." "You're right! Great job, Sofia!" Hugo exclaimed, making Sofia slightly blush and thank him. "Let's go see your dressmaker and see what she has," Hugo suggested. "Good idea!" In the throne room, Desmond dragged in their found items. There stood Amber, waiting with her items as well. "You have 4 items, huh?" "I only have 3, Amber stated. Desmond was a little too exhausted to respond, and simply gave a thankful smile. He began to unload his items, and Amber was quite impressed. "Here, let me help you with that," she insisted as she came up to him. "Where's Sofia?" Amber wondered. Finally regaining his breath, Desmond answered, "Out finding the last 2 items as I prepare the rest." "What about Hugo?" "Oh, we split up long ago and divided our items up. I'm not surprised I found all of mine first," she replied. "Wow, that's a great strategy. I can't believe I didn't think of that." "See, I told you that you'd be fine," Desmond admired. Setting out the last item from his box, Amber responded, "And you were right." She then reached and gave him a hug, adding, "Like always." Desmond slightly froze and started to blush, then smiled and hugged her back. "Now all that's left is to wait for our teammates," Amber finished. "Amber! Desmond!" a voice cried in the distance. "Oh, look, right on cue," Amber said with a smirk, Desmond laughing afterwards. Sofia and Hugo then entered at the same time, each carrying a carpet and a bunny. However, Hugo also had a sword on his back. "Looks like both teams tied. I'll go find James and Xandar," Bailiwick declared. When he found them, they were still sitting, trying to find out what the 4th item was. "Prince James, Prince Xandar, the other teams have returned with all their proper items. It's time to head back to the throne room." Entering the throne room, James looked at his friends and sisters. He tried to see if Hugo and Desmond were finally backing off his sisters, but found otherwise. They were acting different, but rather, they were closer. Hugo and Sofia were both petting their bunnies and smiling the whole time. Desmond and Amber were both sitting on top of his box, talking and laughing. James stopped and realized, wait, so that means... It backfired, Xandar finished. This plan just helped show them why they work best with each other and grew them closer together.